mental health is number one. Because if you feel good inside of your brain, it's going to be so much easier to feel good about anything else. Welcome back to the Dangerous Women podcast. My name is Colleen Conlon. I am your host, and today I want to share with you the greatest 3 investments I have ever made. They are learning how to strength train, learning how nutrition actually works, and getting my butt into therapy and healing trauma from the past. I think when you are a healthy person, life is just so much easier. And that's not to say there are other pillars of health that, we don't look at, we don't care about, not at all. I mean, we've talked about this on the podcast, environmental health, financial health, sexual health, all of these things really matter. But I will tell you, I think bare bones, mental health is number one. Because if you feel good inside of your brain, it's going to be so much easier to feel good about anything else. And for me personally, being somebody who struggled with an eating disorder, being somebody who's in the fitness industry, just learning how strength training and how nutrition work was really a big deal for me, because there's so many gimmicks. There's so many things that people are pushing out there telling you, this is how get a body that looks like this. This is what's, acceptable. This is what's unacceptable. Being immersed in these areas and really understanding truth from BS has been incredible, because it's given me a lot of control over my actions, knowing that I'm doing things in a good way. And that's what I'm always hoping to share with you on this podcast. And when it comes to all of these things, I think the big thing people need to understand is just because you're in therapy, just because you have a trainer, just because you're working with a dietitian, you have to choose to do the work in order to get better or get results or get ahead, whatever your goal is. For me, getting into therapy has always been about healing. It's been about being a better person, gaining better control and understanding for my emotions. Why do I respond this way? How could I respond differently? What's a more appropriate response? How do I handle my emotions in a healthy way? But I've talked to therapists. I've had this conversation. Does everybody get better just because they're in therapy? And the response I've gotten back is no. Because not everybody actually wants to get better. Not everybody actually wants to do the work. So even if you're investing in these different areas, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, be that magic fix that you were hoping for. You have to choose to want to see progress. But for me personally, therapy has been one of the most incredible things. Therapy is the reason why I feel like I have gone from girl to woman. And so much of that has to do with understanding my past, understanding my parents better, understanding my relationship in terms of organized religion a little bit better. It's helped me to have a better relationship with my husband. It has helped me forgive people from the past, forgive myself. It has been one of the reasons as to why I've been able to overcome an eating disorder. And it's one of the reasons why I really do believe in myself. I think it's so easy. If you do not have parents who are celebrating you when you deserve to be celebrated, if you do not grow up with parents who have a healthy relationship where you get to see what that actually looks like, and healthy relationship doesn't just mean, coexisting. And there's nothing wrong with parents fighting, but how do you fight? How do you show love? I don't know about you. I didn't always see my parents being super touchy-feely. And the way that they fought is not how I fight with Tim. And all of that has changed in taking time to go to therapy and learning, these are healthy responses. These are normal responses. And healthy doesn't mean like we don't fight ever. I remember like being in my 20s, getting ready to get married, and me and Tim really did not have any arguments. We started to find some more like friction once we got engaged because we had a lot of drama with our families. But, people who are just like, oh, well, we never fight. That's not as healthy. But people who are like, oh, we never fight. That's like not the flex I think you might think it is. It's natural. It's normal. It's a part of life. And if you don't know how to do that, because maybe you just go to a different room, maybe you just block it out, maybe you just go to sleep, maybe you just go to alcohol, that doesn't help anybody. So going to therapy, I almost felt like becoming an adult because I was able to communicate with a professional. These are all of the situations I've been in, and I don't want to continue to show up in the way that I have been because it's making me feel very much like a little girl. It's making me feel not like a strong, empowered woman, and I would really like to change that. And therapy for me is what really helped in that aspect. And I would encourage anybody who feels like, I just want a better grasp of my emotions. I want to be able to heal the past. I want to be able to let go of things. I want to be able to set healthy boundaries. I don't want to feel like I have no worth. Like, there's so many reasons as to why somebody would benefit from going to therapy. And I'm just going to say, hands down, I think so many people would be in a much better place if they did take some time to put themselves in that situation. But I can only speak from my own experience. But by far, one of the best things I have ever done for myself, going to therapy, staying in therapy, and doing tough work in therapy. I spent a number of months going through EMDR a couple of years ago, and that was incredible in terms of rewiring different neural pathways so that triggering memories were no longer triggering me. And I know I talk about that in another episode from season number 1. So if you haven't heard that one, definitely tune in. The next thing that has really helped me is strength training. Man, I have never felt more empowered than I have in lifting heavy weights, because there's something about it that just makes you feel like such a badass. And I think a big reason for that is because, people don't really expect women to be, that strong physically. I think everybody's like, yeah, a woman is strong. A woman can give birth. A woman is emotionally strong. But I don't think a lot of people always think woman and physical strength. And I have become my strongest self in lifting weights, and it feels incredible. And I think the reason it feels so incredible is because I'm doing something that people don't expect. And if you look at any of my content on social media, hands down, I get it. I definitely don't look like the strongest person. I don't have the biggest muscles. I don't think anybody would really expect me to be able to lift that much weight. But kettlebells, hardstyle kettlebell technique is fucking sneaky. I am strong. And the clients that I work with, they are fucking strong. And there's something about unassuming strength where it's like, nobody expects me to really be able to do this, but I'm going to be able to do it. And it's just like such a flex. It's such a confidence boost to almost surprise people because you are not at all what they expected. And I love that. I love that. And it's also just been such a great investment because, what we have learned is the stronger you are, the more muscle mass you have, the more dense your bones are, you are going to have a significantly easier time aging. And if you are somebody who, you don't want to age, and you also don't necessarily want to do cosmetic surgery or the Botox or the fillers or any of that stuff, there is so much you can do just by strength training and putting on more muscle mass to keep everything up in this area of your face looking young and youthful. So I wouldn't say that's ever really been something I've cared a whole lot about. And I think that's because I'm just not around a lot of women who have done that. I don't judge it. I think it's great, the women who have. I have clients who have stuff done to their face, but it's never been like a big thing in my immediate family, which is why I don't think I necessarily think of it that much.
Are you ready to start building strength but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest.
But something that I really do care about in terms of aging is being able to be independent until the day I die. Because I'm somebody who's not planning on having kids. So I can't expect anybody to, show up when I'm struggling to help me. I mean, I'm hoping that, when the time comes, me and Tim are living in some type of, community where there are people who we are paying to help us. But, I don't really know what's going to happen. So I know that I will be able to count on myself. And the only way I'm going to be able to count on myself is if I'm doing stuff now in my 30s, preparing for the future. And that means strength training. That means lifting heavy weights. That means, so many things that like my young body gets to benefit from. Like, I have this really sexy shape. I have these strong muscles. I have these strong bones, and I'm only gonna get stronger. And it's been awesome to be able to start investing in that part of my health where I get a lot of like the fun, young, aesthetic benefits right now. I get to demonstrate my strength on social media in front of my clients, and that's really cool as well. But so much of this for me, end game, is actually thinking about the end game and being able to be independent and being able to feel strong as I move into that final stage of my life in what I hope is, like 60, 70 years from now. And then the last piece, investing in understanding how nutrition works. Oh my gosh. Like, this was so life-changing for me. When I started working with registered dietitian Hillary Irvin, who is all over the podcast, my world got fucking rocked. There is so much that is pushed out on social media about this is what you should eat, this is what you shouldn't eat. I've seen so many Instagram posts around like, don't eat the broccoli, don't eat the apples, don't eat this, don't eat that. Like, we're trashing junk food, but we're also trashing healthy food. And it makes everything very confusing. And you start asking, why are we doing this? And I think so much of it just comes down to marketing and people being greedy for money. And when I started working with her and really getting the 411 on what is healthy, what is not healthy, what should I eat, what shouldn't I eat, I felt like everything just made so much more sense. And I really started to believe in how much companies are just trying to scare people into making different choices so that they benefit financially. Now, listen, when it comes to looking at nutrition, I think there are different lenses that people are looking at, right? Like if you are somebody who wants to understand, well, how does nutrition work for the sake of fat loss? That might be a little bit different than the person who's like, well, how does nutrition work in terms of, post-cancer treatment, right? Like, depending on why you want to understand how this stuff works, it's probably going to change a little bit in terms of the way you're going to navigate food. But for anybody who has ever been curious about, well, how does food work in regards to fat loss and building muscle and performance, that's the main stuff I care about at this point in my life. And everything I know now is nothing that I knew 4 years ago. The power of protein, the power of carbs, the power of fat, how there is no such thing as a bad food. You can eat anything you want and achieve your goals so long as they are within your macronutrient breakdowns. And it's not to say the quality of all food is the same, but can I eat a Pop-Tart and not freak out that like I'm gonna die? Yes. Can I eat a donut or a piece of pizza without fearing I'm gonna get fat? Yeah. You can eat any of that stuff. So much of it comes down to eating in moderation and eating so that everything fits into your macro goals. And are foods that are more calorie dense going to eat away more of your macros quicker than foods that maybe aren't as calorically dense? Yes. But it's one of those things that once you understand how it works, it's just like playing Tetris. There's rules to the game. And once you understand the rules, then you can really, do so many different things. And for me, that was huge. Being able to go into a restaurant, going into a grocery store, going to my best friend's house and feeling like I can eat whatever I want because I understand what my current macros are for my specific fitness goals, and I can make it all fit. And that just feels like the greatest investment because never again, in regards to fitness goals, physical goals, am I going to have to feel like I can't eat this because I'm afraid I'm going to get fat. I can't eat this because I'm afraid of yada yada. Being able to understand how something works is just so empowering because then you don't have to listen to the noise of other people. You can start to make more educated guesses or, choices for yourself because you know fact from fiction. And for me, I think mental health and physical health, and I'm going to pair, nutrition and strength training into that physical health. Those baseline things, I think, can take you so far. I think they can take you so far in a number of different realms. Because if you feel good, if you feel confident with yourself as a person, you are going to feel so much more capable of going after things that maybe you don't already have, but you want. And you're so much more willing to just take a chance on yourself. And it's also just something that serves you throughout the entirety of your life. Is there ever going to be a time where it's like, yeah, it's okay if, Bobby Sue's mental health just like goes down the gutter? No, we always want your mental health to be in the best place it possibly can. And the same with your physical health. Like, is there ever going to be a time where we're just like, okay, Anne Marie, it was great knowing you, but I guess, body's not really doing too well anymore. So we're going to kick you down the curve. No, you are your greatest investment. And before we start diving into areas like finance or business or romantic relationships or anything else like that, we need to make sure you are good. And I truly believe, at least for myself, it starts here in the mind and then it goes into the physical. Now, before we start to wrap things up, I want to ask you, what has been your greatest investment in yourself? What's one thing, if it was taken away from you tomorrow, you would go right back out and get it? I'll tell you, hands down, if I lost my physical body and my mental health tomorrow, the first thing I would go after is my mental health. And then I go after my body. I don't know if I would start with the strength training piece or the nutrition piece. Ask me tomorrow, but my number one thing would be absolutely going after my mental health. And then here's where I want to leave you. If you're on the same page as me with that, you really do believe it would be incredible to feel more confident in regards to your mental health, or it would feel incredible to fully understand how nutrition works or how strength training works, so you can really be in a position where you feel so amazing about yourself, physically, mentally amazing about yourself, I want to encourage you to connect with a professional. If you would like to connect with a strength training coach, please reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. My handle is I am Colleen Conlon, or you can reach out through the Dangerous Women Podcast Instagram. Reach out to me. I'll help you. And if you're looking for support in regards to nutrition, registered dietitian Hillary, she's an amazing person to connect with. Her handle is @dietitian.hillary. And if you're looking for support in regards to mental health, I don't have a name that I can prescribe to you directly, because I believe when it comes to that work, depending on where you are in the world, the rules are just, they're a little bit different. But we do have a podcast episode where Christy Ashbeck is giving advice on how to find the right therapist for you. So I would encourage you to go find that episode. That is in season number 1, so that you can begin investing in one of these areas that I spoke about today.
Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together, so share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram @The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.